In 2024, South Africa stands at a critical juncture as it prepares for another round of national elections. This democratic exercise holds significant weight for the nation, grappling with a myriad of socio-economic challenges. As citizens gear up to cast their votes, the political landscape presents a complex tapestry woven with historical legacies, contemporary issues, and the aspirations of a diverse populace. At the heart of South Africa's political theatre are the main political parties, each with its own storied history and ideological orientation. The African National Congress, deeply entrenched in the country's liberation struggle, has been the dominant force in South African politics since the end of apartheid in 1994. Its legacy is marked by both achievements and controversies, including successes in dismantling institutionalized racism and expanding access to basic services, alongside allegations of corruption and economic stagnation. As South Africa braces for the 2024 elections, the stage is set for a contest that transcends mere political power play. It is a moment of reckoning, where citizens navigate the complexities of their nation's past, present, and future, seeking a path forward that embodies their aspirations for democracy, justice, and prosperity. In the lead-up to the 2024 South African elections, the political landscape is characterized by the presence of several major parties vying for power and influence. Among these, the African National Congress, the Democratic Alliance, and the Economic Freedom Fighters stand out as the most prominent contenders. Additionally, there are numerous smaller parties that contribute to the diversity of South Africa's political arena. The African National Congress, founded in 1912, has been a dominant force in South African politics since the end of apartheid. It played a pivotal role in the country's transition to democracy and has held power ever since. However, in recent years, the ANC has faced significant challenges, including allegations of corruption, internal divisions, and a decline in public trust. The Democratic Alliance, established in 2000 through the merger of several opposition parties, presents itself as a liberal alternative to the ANC. It has positioned itself as a champion of good governance, economic growth, and non-racialism. The DA has made significant inroads in urban areas and among minority communities but has struggled to broaden its support base nationally. The Economic Freedom Fighters, founded in 2013 by former ANC Youth League leader Julius Malema, has emerged as a vocal advocate for radical economic transformation and social justice. With its populist rhetoric and calls for land expropriation without compensation, the EFF has attracted support, particularly among disaffected youth and marginalized groups. In addition to these major players, South Africa's political landscape is dotted with smaller parties representing various ideological, regional, and special interest groups. While these parties may not wield significant influence individually, they can play a crucial role in coalition negotiations and shaping the political agenda. As the 2024 elections approach, polling data suggests a highly competitive race, with no single party poised to secure an outright majority. The ANC, despite its challenges, retains a significant base of support, particularly in rural areas and among older voters. The DA continues to perform well in urban centers but faces stiff competition from the ANC and the EFF. The EFF, meanwhile, has capitalized on growing dissatisfaction with the status quo but may struggle to translate its rhetoric into electoral gains. Against this backdrop, historical context looms large, with voters grappling with the legacies of apartheid, ongoing socio-economic disparities, and disillusionment with political elites. The outcome of the 2024 elections will not only shape the future of South African politics, but also determine the trajectory of the country's socio-economic development. Moreover, corruption scandals have further eroded trust in political institutions, with revelations of graft and malfeasance undermining the ANC's credibility as the party of liberation. The recent arrest and prosecution of high-profile figures, including former President Jacob Zuma, have brought issues of corruption to the forefront of public discourse, fueling calls for accountability and reform. Social policies, including healthcare, education, and housing, also play a significant role in shaping voter preferences. The quality and accessibility of public services, particularly in underserved communities, will be a key consideration for many voters as they cast their ballots. In this context, the likelihood of any party winning an outright majority in the 2024 elections remains uncertain. While the ANC retains a considerable base of support, its declining popularity and internal divisions may prevent it from securing a decisive victory. The DA's appeal to urban voters and its emphasis on governance could translate into electoral gains, but its limited appeal among black South Africans may hinder its ability to win a majority. Similarly, the EFF's populist message may resonate with certain segments of the electorate, but its radical agenda and confrontational approach could alienate moderate voters. Ultimately, the outcome of the 2024 elections will depend on a complex interplay of factors, including voter turnout, coalition dynamics, and unforeseen events. As South Africa stands at a crossroads, the choices made by voters will shape the country's future trajectory and determine its ability to address pressing challenges and build a more inclusive and prosperous society. As South Africa prepares for its 2024 elections, one of the most pressing questions on the minds of voters and political analysts alike is the potential for coalition governments. This is not a new concept in South African politics, as the country has a history of coalition arrangements at various levels of government. Looking back, one prominent example of coalition governance in South Africa occurred in the city of Johannesburg, following the 2016 municipal elections. The African National Congress, which had been governing the city, lost its outright majority and was forced to enter into a coalition with smaller parties such as the Democratic Alliance and the Economic Freedom Fighters. This coalition, while fraught with challenges and disagreements, demonstrated the willingness of political parties to set aside ideological differences in the interest of governance. Polling data suggests that it is increasingly unlikely for any single party to secure an outright majority in the upcoming elections. This raises the prospect of coalition negotiations, where parties will need to collaborate and compromise to form a government. However, the road to forming a coalition government is not without its challenges. One of the primary obstacles is the ideological differences between potential coalition partners. The ANC, DA, and EFF represent divergent political ideologies, ranging from social democracy to liberalism to populism, respectively. Finding common ground on key policy issues such as economic reform, social welfare, and land redistribution will require extensive negotiation and compromise. Despite these challenges, coalition governments also offer potential benefits for South Africa's political landscape. By necessitating cooperation between multiple parties, coalitions can promote accountability and inclusivity in decision-making processes. No single party can unilaterally impose its agenda, forcing parties to consult and accommodate the interests of their coalition partners and, by extension, the electorate. Moreover, coalition governments have the potential to reflect the diverse perspectives of South African society. In a country marked by deep-seated inequalities and historical divisions, coalition arrangements can give voice to marginalized communities and promote representation across ethnic, racial, and socio-economic lines. Coalition governments have been a subject of debate in many democracies, including South Africa. As the 2024 elections approach, questions arise about the effectiveness of coalition governments in serving the needs of the majority, especially the impoverished citizens. Examining the historical context of coalition governments in South Africa provides insights into their effectiveness. One notable example is the Government of National Unity formed after the end of apartheid in 1994. The GNU, led by the African National Congress with the inclusion of other parties like the National Party and Inkatha Freedom Party, played a crucial role in transitioning the country to democracy. However, challenges such as ideological differences and power struggles hampered the effectiveness of policy implementation. Looking beyond South Africa, case studies from other countries offer valuable lessons on coalition governance. For instance, in Germany, the coalition government between the Christian Democratic Union and the Social Democratic Party has been relatively stable, leading to consistent policy implementation and economic growth. Conversely, in Italy, frequent changes in coalition partners have resulted in political instability and hindered long-term policy planning. The success of coalition governments hinges on the ability of participating parties to compromise and cooperate. In diverse societies like South Africa, where different political ideologies and interests exist, finding common ground becomes essential for effective governance. Compromise allows for the incorporation of diverse perspectives in policymaking, leading to more inclusive and representative outcomes. Coalition governments hold the promise of diversity and compromise, but their impact on poverty alleviation remains a subject of debate. As South Africa approaches the 2024 elections, understanding how different parties address poverty in their policy platforms is crucial. The African National Congress, historically known for its focus on social welfare programs, emphasizes job creation, education, and healthcare in its manifesto. Their proposed national health insurance aims to provide universal healthcare, potentially alleviating the financial burden on the poor. However, the ANC's track record in implementing such initiatives has been mixed, with allegations of corruption hindering effective service delivery. The Democratic Alliance promotes a pro-business approach, advocating for economic growth as the primary means of poverty reduction. Their policies include investing in infrastructure, improving education standards, and reducing red tape to attract investment. While these measures may stimulate economic activity, critics argue that they may not adequately address the immediate needs of the impoverished. The economic freedom fighters take a more radical stance, calling for the nationalization of key industries and the redistribution of wealth. Their manifesto proposes measures such as land expropriation without compensation and a basic income grant for all citizens. While these policies resonate with many disadvantaged communities, their feasibility and potential impact on the economy are subjects of intense debate. Coalition agreements between these parties could lead to compromises in policy implementation. For instance, the ANC's focus on social welfare programs might align with the EFF's goals, potentially resulting in expanded social safety nets. However, conflicting ideologies could also stall progress, particularly on contentious issues like land reform and economic policy. Civil society and grassroots organizations play a crucial role in holding coalition governments accountable for addressing poverty. They serve as watchdogs, monitoring government actions and advocating for the interests of marginalized communities. By mobilizing public support and providing oversight, these groups can pressure coalition governments to prioritize poverty alleviation initiatives and ensure their effective implementation. In conclusion, the 2024 South African elections hold the promise of ushering in a new era of governance shaped by coalition dynamics. While the path forward may be fraught with complexities, there exists an opportunity to forge consensus and enact meaningful change for the betterment of all South Africans. It is incumbent upon political leaders to rise to the occasion, harnessing the potential of coalition governments to address the urgent needs of the populace and foster a more equitable and prosperous future. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share and subscribe.